93 minutes and 42 seconds on the clock when Shadley put the ball into the back of the net to send Belgium through to meet Brazil in the quarter-finals. An incredible finish to the match. And I wonder what it's like to be from Japan, because there's a sense of disbelief around the studio here, Richard. A stunning way for the thing to finish. In Japan, they just really... they gifted the opportunity to Belgium to score that goal.
Incredible decision by Honda to take the corner in like that. We had a game against Italy with Ireland and we made a similar mistake. We gave away a goal in the last minute and Trapattoni was going mental for years after it. And that's something that you'll have to live with now for a long time. And such a shame, because they performed brilliantly throughout the whole game and got themselves into a fantastic position. And then, yeah, they just, I suppose, the physicality more than that, and outdone them in the end. And I can't even imagine what they're feeling now at the moment. They're so close, but yeah, now they've made that one error, and that's it, the end of the dream for them.
Like, Didi, there's so many issues with Belgium. We'll talk about those as we go forward. But look, the story tonight is about Japan and how close they came.
Brilliant effort, and they fought, they played, and for a long time it looked like they're going to progress. I just don't understand, because the Japanese are very disciplined and hard-working, and they, from a young age, they're told what to do. But I think in a situation like this, you've got to ask the referee, first and foremost, how long is to play? I think it was about 20 seconds, 30 seconds on the clock. You take a short corner, and if you want to kick it out for a throw, and you go back and you play extra time. Now, to have a situation where you take a corner, where you've got 4 or 5 players in the box, and you get counter-attacked 5v2 or 5v3, is unacceptable. And this is where you need players who take responsibility. This is where Hasebi, we highlighted him before, has got to say, listen lads, 2 go forward, we leave 4 or 5 people at the back, because the last thing we want to, if we score, great, but we won't concede if we go to extra time. And do I feel for them? Yes, in a way they do. But if you concede a goal in the last minute like that, it just baffles me at the world stage, because they gave away a golden opportunity to play extra time and maybe book a place in the last 8.
Yeah. What's your take on what we've just witnessed, Liam?
Well, first of all, I got to wipe the egg off my face, because they were absolutely magnificent. I didn't think they had a chance before the game, but, you know, they're so upset. Didi's right. Honda, you've got Courtois, 6'7". You know, he took a chance with the free kick from distance, and he hit a great free kick, didn't he? And he got the corner, and that should have been it. But what I have to say, Darius, what a World Cup this is. Yeah. You know, the drama that we've seen unfold over the last 2.5 weeks has been quite incredible. And this was a game to put up with any World Cup game you'd see. I thought Belgium were lax, they were casual, but I did say that they had a bench that they could go to, and that's what happened. You know, Fellaini coming on. Richard said that the physicality won them the day in the end, and Fellaini and Chadley, you know, their strength and their power in the air. But you have to feel sorry for the Japanese, and as Richard said, Honda will be, you know, I think Thierry Henry there is applauding the Japanese team. They got out of jail, Belgium, in a big way.
They certainly did, and look, as you watch the Belgian players going around the stadium, you know, Asian football, Japan were the last representatives of Asian football, and those shots that we just saw a few seconds ago of them, just in the players themselves in total disbelief, standing in front of their supporters. Like, look, they've we can say patronising things, but they have done football in their country proud. They've done that confederation proud, but they really gave all they could. And a bit of, like, is naivety the wrong word at the end? Like, I don't, it's a bad mistake that Honda made, but he was trying to win the game, I suppose, or put them in a situation to win it. Here, have a look.
To get them going on the counter-attack was a great little roll pass, and they were away. And as we've said, they had committed too many people up into the box. OK, if you're going to put it into the box, have 2 attacking players up there, but not 6 like they did. Yeah.
And they've done the World Cup proud. Not only the Asian Confederation. Yeah. I think they lightened the World Cup up. I think what they gave in the group, in a very tough group to get out of it, the way they performed today was really admirable.
The goals were
outstanding. Some of the football they played, absolutely outstanding, and that's why I don't want to be too harsh on them, but they'll be kicking themselves. Whether they would have gone through after extra time penalties, we don't know, because obviously Belgium was in the ascendancy. but they took themselves, they robbed themselves from a chance to
at least
have a
find
go.
out.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, well, Belgium, for their part, well, I suppose, what's the way you'd put it? They got away with one, and in style, they're through to the quarter-finals, but the night, in so many ways, belongs to Japan. OK, well, a relieved Roberto Martinez, that's the understatement of the decade, isn't it? Very, very relieved that his team have got through to the quarter-finals. We'll come back to Belgium. He talked about the test of character that night was, and going 2-0 down. We will come back to that point, because there is an awful lot to reflect on and look at from that second half. And it started in the most stunning fashion, Richard, with Haraguchi's goal 3 minutes after the restart.
Yeah, it was a complete shock. It looked Belgium again on the attack, but the ball breaks down. It's Inouye into Shibasaki, and a ball through which Vertonghen has to do better with, really. And you think that he's missed up the opportunity, but in the end he's taken it perfectly. It's a lovely finish. The way Belgium attack, they have wing-backs who are actually wingers, and the two of them are out, and it's 3v3 now defensively, and Vertonghen has to be able to cut it out. But fair play, it was an excellent finish across the goalkeeper, and it looked like the shot was on at that stage. But yeah, great start to the second half of them, and we wondered what the reaction would be, and they got close at Belgium. They hit the post soon after, but then as the game went on, we seen it evolve the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. And let's go forward 4 minutes from that lead goal for Japan, Liam, and watch Inouye make it 2-0.
Well, this was an even better finish than the first goal. The first goal was well finished, but this was a better finish. Again, on the counter-attack, I thought Belgium were a bit lax defensively, not closing down. But the ball comes out to Kagawa, who gives it to Inouye. He knows exactly what he wants to do, and he's bent it right into the far corner. And even though Courtois is 6'8", he cannot get across there. He hit it with so much pace and so much accuracy. That was a goal from the moment it left his boot. What a goal.
Like as you say, to beat him from there.
Yeah, he had to put it right in the corner there with pace. Absolutely fantastic. And you thought then that this upset of the World Cup was going to happen. But I think the bench made a difference, and I do think the Japanese goalkeeper was struggling all the time in the air. Yeah,
because it was Chadli and Fellaini who came on for Belgium. But Japan, Didi, managed to make it 17 minutes. After that, they go 2-0 up. It's 69 minutes until Vertonghen scores with a jammy goal.
Yeah, and they hit the post in that time.
Yeah.
And you felt it needed something special or a fluke. It's an okay punch. Ball falls to Vertonghen. He wants to put it back in the danger area, and it drops into the far corner. You can't. I wouldn't blame the goalkeeper. I don't think there's anything.
What about here? You'd blame him.
Yeah, he's probably got to get a better hand to it.
Yeah.
But he's going through bodies. He's physically not the strongest. And it's just a fluke, and Belgium is back in the game. Vertonghen didn't even know where it's going himself. And it needed something special or a fluke to get back in the game, and that's what they did, unfortunately, for Japan.
That was his second goal in 3 years. So, well, he'll remember it for a long, long time, and so will everybody in Belgium too. 5 minutes later, Liam, Fellaini, the substitute. Yeah. And we saw him play so well against England. He, as we discussed the other night, at times is a kind of a figure of fun for people. But he's a game changer.
Yeah, he's effective, isn't he? You know, and I think it comes out to Hazard out here on the left again. Hazard took the corner originally, puts a great ball in now. And you can tell that Japan are going to be struggling, and Fellaini does what Fellaini does. He climbs early. The Japanese defence can't put him off, and nods it low and hard into the corner. A typical Fellaini goal, and a great ball from Hazard.
It's the one thing that Fellaini has, is that physicality, and certainly in the Premier League everyone's big and strong, so it's maybe not as noticeable. But then when you come up into a competition where you've got different continents, different styles of football, hanging a ball into the 6-yard box and having him attack, it's a huge weapon for them going forward.
Look, Didi, he always seems to make an impression on a match, whether sometimes it's not positive, sometimes it's negative, but he does change things around him.
He does, and I think it's just about the position he's used at, because he always says he wants to be a centre midfielder. I don't think he's ever been a centre midfielder, because I don't think he's got the technical ability and the passing ability to play in centre midfield. But I saw him play for Everton. When he plays as a centre forward, you can't get a ball off him. Long balls up to the centre forward. He holds two players off, chests it down and gets other players into play. So I think the further forward you play him, the more effective he is. And he showed it again. When he put balls in the box, there's probably not many better attacking the ball than him.
Mertens was disappointing in that right side, and he was far more effective.
And De Bruyne, overall?
Was this De Bruyne, as Richard said, didn't do anything till the winning goal.
Yeah.
His body language wasn't good. Him and Hazard were having a bit of a... Ronnie mentioned it in commentary, where they pass into one another when they could. I was very, very disappointed in the way Belgium went about their business for the first hour.
Well, this is what we're going to come on to now. And Martinez spoke in his interview about a test of character for the team, which, well, they passed that test only just. But there were certain things, and we're going to look at this now, and you've called this the Belgian attitude. There were things all the way through the match that you were watching and noticing with Belgium that just did not augur well.
Yeah, watch Hazard's reaction there, you know. That's not good. That's not a good sign.
Okay.
And we had said before the game, are they a bunch of individuals? Well, for the first hour, they looked like that. Look at Hazard. De Bruyne should have passed him that ball. And that was featured a lot in the game. This is De Bruyne. Like, he's not doing his defensive work here and gives Japan a chance to counter-attack that they very nearly, you know, made something of. And that's De Bruyne not doing his job. Now, I said to you at half-time, I thought they were casual. This is casual as well by company. I don't think that's a foul. But they get away with it. So there was lots of questions. They've got to play Brazil now in this next game, Dara, and there's a lot of questions of whether, you know, the mix-up there between him and Hazard.
Look at
not
these
good.
two guys.
Yeah.
You know, when this happens in a game, usually you go to the other one, you have a little clap, or you put an arm around the shoulder and
fist
say sorry.
or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, because these are the two main players, and I get the impression that Hazard being the captain, they're both top dogs in their clubs, and it looks to me De Bruyne is not happy playing second fiddle to Hazard, because when there's the option to give it to either, the ball goes to Hazard. And I think De Bruyne finds it hard to accept, and I'm not sure this team might actually be better. They come back from 2 goals down, so it may sound stupid to say now, I still question the attitude. Yeah. I don't think this is a united team. And in fact, if you take De Bruyne out of the team, they may actually benefit, because I think the way they do play, I think there's other players in the squad who can do a better job than he does.
Like when you look at those things, Richard, you know, you go back to the comments by Nangolan, who was left out of the squad, used to play with Rome and is at Inter now, but he's on record, we mentioned it a couple of nights ago, before this competition, saying, you know, there could be potentially issues in that dressing room, because everybody wants to be important, and to expand on that, like Didi says, everybody wants to be the main man.
Yeah, and they are for that club, so it's difficult for them to all come together as one. I said before about them, they're all interested in what their future is and what they're doing next, what club are they going to next. And when you hear them speak, it's always about themselves. You don't hear them talk about the team as a collective. And you look at the performance, and probably without the Vertonghen goal, which it was a fluke, really. Yeah. There was nobody who was grabbing the game by the balls and trying to go and get us going forward. They were going. They were just playing the match. They weren't creating that. And then by the end of it, it was just, they got that goal. They get a little bit of life. It's a cross for Fellaini to head one in, and then they get the goal in the end.
It was a lifeline, that goal, wasn't it? It really was. They made them believe they could do it, you know.
They talk about the golden generation. We had a golden generation in England who never did an awful lot. I think past the quarter-final, maybe one semi-final in one of the Euros. The problem, I think, with that generation in them days with England was that the managers picked the best players rather than the best team. And I think he's in a similar situation now, because the way they do play, I think it's a better side if you bring somebody in instead of Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne's been an outstanding player for City, but you've got to pick a team where people complement each other and want to play with each other and together and work together. I haven't seen anything. And they play Brazil now. There's probably no bigger test with the teams left in the competition. I don't worry for them, but I think Brazil won't mind playing them.
I was surprised as well. You know, like Hazard is an incredibly talented player. To have Vincent Kompany back, and we see what a leader he is for City. He was the national team captain. He's not the national team captain anymore. Hazard is. Like, if you want a leader or somebody to... And I'm sure he's doing that stuff in the dressing room anyway, but the armband is a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And normally you would pick a captain who's vocal, who's a worker, who gets the other players to give their all. But I don't think Hazard is one of those players. It was worrying. It was really worrying, their attitude tonight in that first hour. And even the company coming in and Vertonghen, they look legless. They couldn't chase back. The Japanese had much more energy, and we showed you a couple of clips of De Bruyne actually not bothering to do what he's supposed to do in that central midfield, is to hunt the ball down, protect his back four. He was just playing his own game, and that's a worry going forward. However, against Brazil, they're the underdogs now, aren't they? So that might be a help to them.
I think the problem with Kompany is I don't think he's as influential in the dressing room anymore, because he's a part-time player at Manchester City at the moment. Yeah. And there's question marks over him whether he should be in the team in the first place. So I don't think he's that influence in the dressing room that he may have been 5 years ago.
Richard, let's have one last look at this remarkable winner from Chadley. From the corner, Honda's corner for Japan, and just take up the story here.
Yeah, they have a man on the edge of the box there in the D, and he makes a run. You can see the corner, so it's not like it's... You can see where the corner's going. He's already made the run, and that just leaves that edge of the pitch completely open. And you see as Courtois gets it, rolls it out to De Bruyne. If that guy was stood in that D, there's no way this goal happens.
There's two players out taking the corner. They were nearly going to play it short, and there's 5 in the box. So one ball takes 7 players out of it, Tara. And De Bruyne did something that he hadn't done all the match. Great little leave by Lukaku. He was disappointing tonight, but he dummies it, and Chadley finishes it.
Yeah, well, Richard just mentioned Trapp conceding a goal, I think, against Italy with Ireland. That was one of the first things he taught me when he came to Munich. You never leave the centre of the pitch. Yeah, he always referred to the motorway. If you don't occupy the 2 central midfielders, if you don't occupy the middle of the pitch, Autostrada, which is the motorway. Yeah. And that was the Autostrada for Belgium. And the Japanese, just vacated that space. And you just can't do it. And this is why I question the game management, the management. Hasebe, my man, I highlighted him before, what a huge influence he is for the team. He's got to say, 1 or 2 men on the edge of the box, we leave 3 men back. If we score, great. But we do not concede in the last minute of injury time. So, yes, do I feel sorry for them? And they would have learned about it, but you've got to make them decisions. It's a lack of decision-making, naivety, call it what you want. And as I said, they'll be sitting on the plane tonight or tomorrow thinking, we should have at least have another half hour and see whether they could beat us.
And Belgium, for their part, Liam, will be feeling rather fortunate this evening.
Yeah, got out of jail, didn't they? They'll go into the match with Brazil as underdogs, but they need to improve. De Bruyne needs to show, more commitment than he showed tonight. They need to play more as a team. I'd be a bit worried for them that Neymar down the flanks. I think they've got 2 forward players playing full back or wing back, and they could punish them there. But you never know. They go into the match as underdogs, and sometimes that can be a big help.
All right, they got away with it for sure.